Hello, good morning. Blessings, guys. I am and have been, well, you know what? Let me first start off by introducing myself in case you are not familiar with me and this channel. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I am here to talk about spirit possession, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about curses and what they are, which a lot of the time curses are spirit possession. Okay. And then we're going to also talk about what is actual real protection. What is real protection? And how to take back your life and your destiny. Okay. And so, yeah, it is 11/11, which is apparently a special day because of the double number 11/11. And we're starting out with a beautiful morning this morning over here in Georgia. I woke up about a quarter to 5 a.m. and to some really, really soothing rain outside. So it's been raining for well over an hour over here in Georgia. And I have been up and I am getting ready to go and get coffee and get the day going. So I hope that everybody is doing well. And so, yeah. So we're going to be, we're not just going to be talking about spirits. We're going to be talking about stalking spirits. Okay. Stalking spirits. And I really, really, really want to dig into this information for you guys this morning. So this one might be kind of long because I need for you guys to understand what is going on here. And a lot of people are very, very perplexed. A lot of people are very, very perplexed. Not just perplexed, but a lot of people are very, very ignorant to this information that I'm about to give to my following today. Whoever is lucky enough to be here. And so I first want to get into stalking spirits, okay? And the possession, stalking spirits as well as possession today. Now, when people tend to always relate possession with demons. They always relate problems and spiritual problems with demons. But did you know that a spirit can possess a person? Did you know that that the main issue that we are dealing with is spirits and spirit possession? And this does not always have to be invoked on you or caused by someone practicing the occult. People are very confused about this. We're going to get into this today because a lot of people think, oh, well, it's the occultists, it's the witches that are doing this. And yeah, there are some witches, and some of them get paid a lot of money for it to invoke a spirit onto you so that it can curse you. Yeah, that is the truth. But a lot of the times, and most of the times, when we're dealing with spirits, these are random acts of God. These are random natural disasters of what we're like how do I describe it? The only thing I can describe it as is an act of God. That's the only thing, the only way I can describe it. Um, I think the first thing when you are investigating spirit stalking and possession, you have to keep your eyes open and your ears open. And I think that that's why so many people say, don't be distracted. If you have a problem, if you have an issue, you have to figure out what it is. You can't just assume anything, okay, when it comes to having a spiritual problem. For example, if you are facing unfair judgment, okay, if you are facing unfair judgment and persecution, and all of these weird, strange things are happening to you, and spirit is speaking to you and talking to you from beyond the grave, and certain things are being said to you, and you're like, this is doesn't even closely resemble who I am, what my life is about. And so when you have a spirit stalking you, because spirits do stalk people, rarely do spirits necessarily stalk their close family members. They don't always do that. In fact, they wouldn't do that. A lot of people assume and they are taught that when a person dies, that they ascend into heaven or either they descend into hell, and that is not true. Some spirits roam the earth and they are looking for someone to stalk and impede on their lives. If a person was very evil when they were alive, they're going to be evil in death. They're not going to all of a sudden turn into an angel. No, they are still going to be evil, hateful, spiteful. Okay, in death. And this person, you know the saying that opposites attract. Well, that's very true when it comes to spirits, because spirits that are the complete opposite to who you are attracted to you. Okay. And spirits may be attracted to you for different reasons. They may be attracted to you, for example, if you are somebody that loves family, and you just love the camaraderie of your family and your children, and you like playing board games, and you like happiness, or you like children, and you want the best for children, then you may attract a spirit that is the complete opposite, may come to you. And they may have been roaming around for centuries looking for someone to impede on. I think that it is important for all witches, especially, to pay attention to this, because I believe that it is mainly, I don't want to say it's our responsibility, but it's something that we can contribute to this world, in particular, if we are aware. If we are aware and we have the ability to help people with these cases, then I think that we should. That really the only danger is not knowing what is going on. Spirits will stalk people. Spirits will possess the people around you. They will bounce from person to person in your household. And yes, spirits can possess people. People are so stuck on demons, demons, demons. Okay. Yeah, there are demons, but then there are also spirits. And spirit possession is very real. And if you have a spirit in your house, it is important to get it out. And it is important to know how to get it out. Okay. Spirits can create curses in your life. However, when you think about what can be done with witchcraft, okay, I am a witch. I do not do those types of things. Okay. I think that there are a lot of different things that you can do with witchcraft, especially if you are someone that understands how to work with spirits. Because again, every witch doesn't necessarily work with spirits. There are some witches that work with energy manipulation, or they can use their foresight and their vision. Okay. But I would say that a majority of witches do work with spirits. And so a witch can put a curse on you by conjuring a spirit and sending it to you. And what this spirit can do is what it will do is it will follow you. It will shadow you. It will go where you go so that it can manipulate your perception of your world. That's what they can do. Every person that you encounter, every person in your life will be affected by that spirit. So that's why there's a lot of people that they won't deal with people that are unaware of this, because those people will have a curse on them, which it would be a curse. If you have a bad spirit following you around everywhere you go, afflicting everybody that you come into contact with, then more than likely people are going to not want to be in the same room with you. Now, when you think about a person like me that can recognize spirits, spirits don't scare me. Okay, demons don't scare me. So I don't so it's very different when it comes to me, which is why I am more accepting. But there's a lot of people that will be put off by, you having that spirit on you, because they will either feel funny, or you may not necessarily get along with people because that spirit is controlling everything. And see, a lot of the times during your readings, I will see these spirits and they will be right there and they will just be manipulating. Those spirits don't have to know you. They don't even have to know your family. So this is the reality of it. Okay. Now, I have encountered people that have had up to 20 spirits around them. And some of them will be very randomly attached to you, but then some of them will be spirits that can be sent to you that have an assignment. Okay. And these particular spirits are being controlled by a witch, or an intent of a witch, or an occultist that is practicing necromancy. Okay. So these particular spirits are a lot more sinister than the average spirit, because some spirits or ghosts, they may like you. They may even be helping you. Okay? That doesn't mean that the random spirits that may be evil or malevolent, okay? This would be considered a malevolent spirit. The spirits that may randomly become attached to you, those spirits may possibly be less sinister than the ones that are being controlled by necromancy. Okay. So that is factually how a real curse can manifest. And these particular spirits, why are you so vulnerable to them? Well, because you can't see them. Okay. Most people can't see them. Most people on this earth have no idea. They just have no idea. Or they may have some idea, but they're in denial when it comes to what's actually happening. Okay. And so those people usually do not have any level of control over their life, their destiny, or their emotions. They don't. They don't have any control over themselves. And this is why you see a lot of crazy things happen out of spirit possession, because these people just have no idea. Okay. I have seen people become possessed by spirits and they just have no idea. They won't have any memory of important events that they should remember. I mean, they just will have no memory of it. So that's why it's important, if you suspect somebody is spirit possessed, you should test them and ask them, "Hey, do you remember when this happened?" And a person that is possessed by a spirit, that spirit is speaking for them. They will have no memory of things that they should remember. Like, I mean, none. Like, they'll go, "No, no, I don't remember that happening." And this could have just happened a couple of days ago. People that, a lot of the times I've seen people that will lose their ability to have a short-term memory. Like, they'll have short-term memory loss. My suspicion is that some of those people are suffering from spirit possession. And you just all of a sudden lose your short-term or your long-term memory to where you have no idea what happened just last week, or of course we can't always remember everything, every single thing, but forgetfulness is a sign of spirit possession. um when it comes to curses, when it comes to spirit possession, as far as with curses are concerned, a lot of the times you can tell when a person is still possessed by the spirit of a curse. And this is something that I usually have to sit down and I have to really, really dig into it and talk to people about it. For example, I am doing. I currently have a client where I am doing spiritual counseling for both her and her husband, and there were, at the time when I linked up with this client, there were several spirits working to destroy their marriage that shouldn't have been there. Okay. So what will happen is all of these negative things will happen: anger, cheating, lots of different things will happen. And unless the husband or the wife seeks some kind of spiritual counseling for that, or spiritual help. And so I have to explain over and over again. And a lot of times when I have to keep explaining that, like, listen, this person has been affected by a spirit. This person has been affected by black magic. So that is why negative occurrences are going to happen. Some people will remember everything from the curse, which is bad within itself. For example, if somebody is jealous of your relationship with your younger or older sister, and they decide, I'm jealous of them because they get along and I want to see them fight, and because I'm sad or I'm upset, and they may decide that they want to play around with it. They put a curse on you and your sister to make you fight. And the next thing you know, you're fighting. You're not getting along. And you're about ready to kill each other. If one of the sisters says, wait a minute, this should not be happening. What's going on here? Why is this happening? Why aren't we all of a sudden getting along? Why, what is going on? They seek help for that. It's very difficult because one of the sisters may be very ignorant to spirit possession, and she may just remember everything all of the arguments. If if you got into an argument and called each other a name or something, or anything could have happened. I mean, I've seen a lot of things happen. During spirit possession, I have seen siblings sleep with each other's husbands. I mean, I've seen it all. Okay. And see, a lot of the times that is very specific. A very specific spirit may either be used or either be told to carry out that act. So you have people that will remember everything. And that within itself is a curse within itself, because I have found myself having to remove memories of that in order for people to be able to move on. Because, if you have a witch or an occultist that has a hatred for you, and she or he wants to curse you, trust me, they think of everything. So they'll say, well, I know that this person knows about this, but I'm going to do some work to make them remember everything. I don't want them to forget or forgive. Right. So it's like an unforgettable curse. It's like, I'm going to make sure that this person remembers everything and never gets over it and never moves on from it. And so trust me, they think of everything. Okay. And so I found throughout the years working cases for people that I'll have to remove the memory. It's good to forget about those things. It's good to forgive and forget, basically, especially when it's something that is artificially inseminated, basically. A lot of times curses will act as artificial intelligence. They will act as that because it'll be a spirit manipulating things, or either possessing people, and it will be causing fights and arguments and problems. That's what it's meant to do. Okay. So a lot of the times it's good when it comes to your family members or either your lovers or either whoever it is that you're dealing with. It's a good idea to it's not that you forget completely. You're still aware of what happened, but it's not to the point where people believe it's real, because there's a lot of people, they can get cursed and they believe it's real. Same thing goes if you are suffering from medical witchcraft. I have seen witches put certain medical afflictions on people. It's not an actual medical problem, it is a symptom. So, for example, chest pains. Somebody could send, oh, I want this person to experience chest pains. I want them to be uncomfortable. And you'll go to the hospital and they'll give you an EKG and they'll say, well, ma'am, your heart is fine, your lungs are clear, your heart is fine. Maybe perhaps you're stressed. Okay. So there are some people that do medical witchcraft as well. Just to make y'all aware of that. I'm not going to get into medical witchcraft too much today, but I will at a later date. Okay, because that is another thing that I've seen people do, little nasty little things that people have done. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about when it comes to curses, and how most people that are in denial of the existence of witchcraft and the fact that it is real are some of the most dangerous people that you can encounter, because those people don't have control or awareness of themselves. They can be affected by a curse, they can be affected by a spirit, and they will have no idea. I'm going to give you guys an example. This is actually a personal story of mine. One day, it was everybody in the house was fine, and everybody was feeling fine, and everybody was relaxing and chilling. And all of a sudden, I could sense something very, very, very negative. I could sense a negative presence in the house, several of them actually. And all of a sudden, everybody in the house just started arguing. Everybody. And y'all know that I'm a high priestess. I am a witch. I do this for a living. And I could feel this very angry energy. It was awful. And it was literally just like that. The mood, the temperature, the smell in the house just changed all at once. And so everybody in the household was fighting. This was when my daughter was home. One of my daughters was home, and just fighting, fighting, fighting. And so I could feel that presence, and it was trying to affect me. But I said, wait a minute, wait a minute. I said, this ain't right. And everybody said, what, mama? This isn't right. Something's going on here. And I grabbed my cauldron and I started to burn mugwort, sage, and copal, and a little bit of dragon's blood. And I started to state my incantation to banish spirits. Next thing you knew, 5 minutes later, everybody was calmed down. I continued to sage and to smudge the whole house. Next thing you know, 10 minutes later, everybody was apologizing to each other. Okay. And the next thing you know, the household was peaceful again. And so it's not to say that the house is not protected. So let's talk about protection. Let's talk about protection. Your biggest protection is going to be awareness. That's going to be your greatest protection, is awareness, being aware of what is happening. Is your best defense against, baneful magic and spirits. That's going to be your best defense. People that are unaware, you hear about them all the time. Horrible things happening, murder, suicides, people being beaten up, people being physically assaulted. Okay. So your awareness of what is happening is going to be the best protection ever. Then you have to know who the hell you are. Who are you? Some people don't know. There are some people that have no idea who they really are. There are some people that have been under possession since they were a child, and nobody actually ever made them aware of it. Um, now I can tell you personally, um, I lost the memory of most of my childhood, and that is because most of my childhood I would go under possession. Okay, but as I got older, and I believe that my grandmother did a lot of, because my grandmother never actually communicated with me about spirit possession and witchcraft. She never communicated that with me with words. Everything, all of the education and the information that I got about witchcraft and about spirituality and necromancy, my grandmother actually communicated with me through telepathy. She never, ever, ever sat down and said, Shani, because my grandmother called me Shani. She never actually sat down with me and said that it was all done through telepathy. We had moved in with my grandmother when I was 11 years old because my parents had divorced. And as soon as that happened, my life got better when we had moved in with my grandmother. And that was because everything that she had given to me, she had given to me through telepathy. And so I became more aware of what was happening, and learned everything about necromancy, spirit possession, spirits, and witchcraft and kitchen witchery. I learned all of that from my grandmother simply by her using telepathy. And even to this day, when my grandmother comes to me in dreams, she never actually talks to me. I've been in I've been in a dream state with my grandmother there, and there will be family members there, and some of them are still alive, some of them have been deceased. It's usually my grandmother speaking to all of us that are still alive, typically. And she won't say anything. I can hear everybody else's voices, but my grandmother, she will not speak. She won't speak, but she'll just look at you. And you those are her. That is her giving me that information. So my grandmother was my biggest teacher, even though she never even said a word. Never. And so that's very interesting. But I think that your biggest protection is going to be awareness. And my grandmother is the one who, I wouldn't have even known who I was if it were not for her. And it's not just about being a witch. It's just, my personality, the person that I am, that I love, and that, my loved ones love. Otherwise, and that was one of the reasons for, well, I wouldn't say that was one of the reasons, because my father was going through his own thing, but that was one of the good things that came out of my parents' divorce, is that it led me to my grandmother's house, at the age of 11. And she came in around the time that was needed. This was around the time that I went through, right after I started going through puberty. And I was very, very lucky to have her influence over my life, right at that time, because I believe that puberty is it's a pivotal moment in a person's life. Okay. And so it's one of those milestones that, it was a good thing that I was within my grandmother's presence. And then my aunt Regina at the time lived with my grandmother. And so she was such I was so lucky to have my grandmother, because I think that my mother was the same way, but my mother, she started to become sort of possessed by my father's spirits a lot after that. Like I'm not going to get into that story, but hey, one EQL. Oh man. One EQL. Wow. I'm so sorry that you're going through too much. That's terrible. I can't really give you a reading from the chat room, sweetie. I would say schedule a reading if you're able to. I can't give you a reading through the chat. Okay. The only thing I can say is well wishes to you, and I hope that everything turns out to be okay. Okay, but I can't even say if I can help you, because sometimes it's not meant for me to help you. Sometimes it's meant for you to self heal, which is very important. So you'd have to contact me for a reading. Okay. Um, so when it comes to recognizing spirits, and if you are a person, because I think that everybody has an awareness of spirits, but I just think that everybody doesn't talk about it. Like I'm convinced of that. I don't believe that anybody actually doesn't believe in spirits. I do not believe that. I believe that most people have an awareness. I think that some people can be deep, deep, deep in denial. But I also believe that most people have that awareness, and most people understand um, what is happening. Okay. But I think that the main aspect of it, when it comes to your protection, when it comes to your awareness, is very, very important. Okay, that's important. And it's important for you to understand how to protect yourself, protect your house. Okay, that is important. And so, and especially when it comes to stalking spirits, I've seen so many spirits stalk people, and they can be very random. They can either be attached to somebody, or they can just pop up and be very random. And you know what? I know for a fact that there's a lot of you guys out there that have had these unexplained phenomenons in your life. Unexplained phenomenons, accusations, perceptions on you, and then you'll run into a story of a person that's deceased, and that phenomenon that has been happening in your life, you can relate it directly to that deceased person. It'll be their life, only somehow this person's energy has invaded your life. And I know that I'm not the only one that has recognized that. So this is kind of one of the reasons why I had started changing over a lot about a month ago, because I got tired of these random spirits being able to affect me. I don't like that. I don't want random spirits coming into my life or becoming attached to me, and you don't either, because they will change the course of your life completely. One day it will be, you'll be living a certain life, you'll be headed in the direction that you want in life, and the next day everything will fall apart and it'll just go downhill from there. So a lot of the times when I am talking about curses, curse reversals, there's not even a reversal needed. Some of you guys may have enemies, they may light candles that will never work on you. But if you're suffering from spirit possession, you don't have to be possessed by the body or the mind of a spirit. A spirit can possess your life. They can possess your life. They can change the course of your life. And it is very, very specific, the things that need to be done. You have to have salt. You have to have sulfur. You have to have black salt or either white salt. Sulfur is a very important compound with that as well. A lot of the times, if you guys have spirit possession, like what I'll do is I'll mail you like a little bitty packet of herbs, and in a separate thing, I'll send you the tiniest amount of sulfur. You put that sulfur in the bath, and you make sure that it's dissolved. You don't want to just put sulfur powder in the bath and not have it dissolved. But you put a little bit of that sulfur in there, and that spirit is going to come out of your body. Okay. So that's why a lot, you ever see people go to like the hot springs, and they'll get in those hot springs, and it'll smell like sulfur, because sulfur is what's going to remove that spirit, as well as I don't know what it is about Epsom salt. Epsom salt removes spirits from the body as well. Epsom salt, okay, will remove a spirit. A spirit cannot survive in the body with Epsom salt, okay. So I'm downstairs now, you guys, because I have to make coffee, and then I'm going to get my work area cleaned up in the kitchen and everything. So you guys will hear me rattling around in here. Um, a lot of people have issues in college. If you are a college student and you are living in a dorm, okay, for some reason, spirits love to mess with kids at college. And I believe that that movie, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, was based upon a true story. I don't believe that it was the devil possessing her. I believe that it was lying spirits saying that they were the devil. That wasn't the devil possessing that girl. Those were spirits. Okay, so I believe that if you guys ever saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose, I think that that movie was very important. And the reason why that movie was very important, because a lot of kids that go to college end up getting possessed by spirits. Okay. Whether or not those are random spirits that live in the dorm or nearby, hold on, y'all. 4, 5, 6. Okay. You guys have to watch your kids when they go to college. If they're in those dorms, give them some kind of protection amulet or item that can help them along the way, because a lot of them are dealing with spirits, you know. They are. A lot of us are dealing with spirits. Spirits are a trip. And, you know, I think that probably, you know, a lot of them are not harmful, but a lot of them are very harmful. A lot of them are factually very harmful, can cause depression, anxiety, a lot of different things. And, you know, a lot of people, when we, like I said, we allow ourselves to be programmed. We allow ourselves to believe certain things that are not the truth. There are good ghosts and there are very bad ghosts. Okay. And that's what we're dealing with. Okay. That's what we're dealing with. It's not always a demon. Everybody's stuck on demons. No, it's not always a demon. Okay. In fact, you know, demons, they have other stuff to deal with. There are some spirits that would love to be a demon, and they, you know, they will do very demonic, evil things. Okay. And so a lot of you guys, especially like, for example, if somebody just attacks you for no, it's out of the blue, like, you know, a lot of the times that is that person's spirit. You know, that is a spirit. It's not necessarily a reaction. If somebody just starts some crap with you, that's not a reaction because you haven't said anything to them or you haven't presumably done anything that would piss that person off. It just all of a sudden, some stuff gets started. All of a sudden. And you like, what? You know, and it'll totally not be your fault. And so some of this stuff can cause suffering in your life for years. I mean, I have even seen certain spirits do things to people that lead them to jail or death. Okay. Now, what I don't understand is why a person would rather be in denial to this fact than to be smart about it and just accept what is. Okay. People should just be smart about it and say, you know what, it is what it is. What else can you say? What else can you do? Guys, I gotta get this table cleared off. So I gotta get some stuff mailed out. I got my postal scale for those of you that are waiting on packages. And my money mojo bags are almost done. I'm just waiting on these two more items that'll be here on Sunday that I'm gonna put in my money mojo bag. So um, yeah, and I'll start mailing things out on Monday. Okay. So anyway, so again, everybody's stuck on witchcraft. Everybody's stuck on witchcraft. You know, even when you see certain things that, you know, you see certain churches and stuff that are even on YouTube, they're constantly, oh, the spirit of witchcraft, witchcraft. You don't need witchcraft to have an affliction of a spirit. I'm gonna repeat that. You do not need a witch for a spirit to. That's why this world is where it is at. Okay, because they want to burn the witch, but the witch is the one that is telling you what's happening to you. They're blaming it on witchcraft when a spirit is a spirit. They could use our wisdom. Am I lying? No, I'm not. They could use our wisdom. They could use our understanding. You know, that's just like if something happens and you have to call an EMT out for emergency medical attention. You know, you notice how calm those people are. They're calm and they're reserved. They are trained to stay calm and help people. Same thing when it comes to witches. That's what we're trained to do. Okay. And we've been tested our whole life to do that. Trust me. And especially with what I do for a living, which is why, even though people have had a silly notion to try to destroy divine services and divine services apothecary, we've always stayed afloat because it would be stupid to try to destroy me or destroy my company when, all of us that have businesses that are handling business and helping people need help with these spirits. Okay. And yes, spirits can be banished. Yes, they can. Okay. And you don't necessarily have to be this special person that, even though there are some people that have a knack for it, and I have a knack for it. Okay. But you can get rid of a spirit out of your house on your own. You just have to have enough willpower. Okay. So you don't like a lot of people are very, very confused about this. A lot of people want to blame it on witches and witchcraft, which, yeah, there are some witches, they will go to the graveyard. I have seen them do it for revenge on people. Or maybe they're even being paid to do it. They'll go to a graveyard, they will summon a spirit, they will capture that spirit, and they will send it after somebody. Now, I think it's kind of ridiculous because a person can simply banish it, but they're wanting you to be ignorant. They're banking on you being ignorant and not knowing about it. Every witch has the right to offer her services to clients that are being afflicted in this way. Okay. And that includes me. So, I know the game. And it doesn't mean that I'm betraying the witch, because every witch doesn't necessarily do that. Every witch doesn't do that. There are certain herbs, and certain things on this earth that spirits cannot exist with. One of them is going to be salt, okay? One of them is going to be salt, but then also other things of the earth, anything that's earth and energy, rocks, sand, I have empathy for spirits that something may have happened to them, in particular the ones that died violently. Okay. Unfortunately, spirits that have died or died violently can very easily end up being a malevolent spirit. Okay. A lot like if something happens to where a woman gets raped or killed and stuff like that, they could very easily turn into a malevolent spirit. Do they always? No, but it does happen. Okay. Hello, Enchante. Right. Yep. You're right, Enchante. Yeah, a lot of the college campuses are built on burial grounds and cemeteries and stuff. Yep. Yep. You're right about that. Every place is haunted, but I think that it's if you don't put protection around yourself and your children. And so I do it more often because of the circumstances. I do protection. I put protection around my loved ones every single day, which I'm hoping one day it's not going to be necessary for me to do all that because but it only takes a couple of minutes for me to put protection around my children. And so it's a small sacrifice for me to put protection around my loved ones and my children. But I think especially right now, um, honestly, I don't know why so many people, I mean, as a witch, I'm going to be more responsible than that. That's just the type of witch that I am because I already know that these spirits are out here roaming around. I already know that they are roaming, and I'm not going to put more out there than what needs to be. Okay, because it's already a lot going on, and but when it comes to a negative, malevolent spirit, they are very, very, very real. Okay, and they can possess people. And so, a lot of people, when we think about spirit possession, it's almost like people will be acting something out. And so, sometimes acting something out is a sign of spirit possession as well. If somebody's acting something out, if somebody is doing something weird and strange, especially if it's at your expense, okay, uh, then because I can tell you that I never did come to you guys and talk to you guys about the spirits of the two women, um, because I just decided I didn't want to deal with it. And so I'm just not going to do that. But, spirits can, like I said, okay, these spirits, people that have died, people that have transitioned, they're not always just gone. They're not. And so, that's why a lot of people, when it comes to a spirit, when it comes to energy, you can't necessarily kill energy. They say that. I do believe that. I believe that some energies and spirits need to die. That's what I think. Okay. That's what I think. I think that some of them need to die because they're so malevolent, they're so evil. Okay. And that's just keeping it real. That's just me. I'm a good person. I don't like to see people suffer, especially people that when you think about our children, when you and not just our children, but even people my age. I'm 45. You guys have the right to live your life. You guys have the right to be yourselves. To think that either a spirit will decide to try to possess a person in their life, or either somebody would conjure that on you purposely. It's very invasive. It's very intrusive for somebody to do that to you. So that's not cool. So I don't agree with that. So that's one of the reasons why um a lot of you guys, I mean, I have detected spirit attached to every single chakra on you guys' bodies before. Like it'll be one on your head, one on your root, one on they'll just be all over you. And they may be around you. They'll be just hanging around you. My Sam Hang group, we actually did shadow work as a group. So and shadow work to me a lot of the times is literally what is following you, what is behind you, what is around you. And you have to face it. You have to say, okay, something ain't right here. Something just ain't right here. What is this? What is compelling people? What is this? And a lot of times it's spirits. And I personally do not allow myself to be a empty seater for a spirit. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that. But like for example, if you have like maybe something to say to somebody and you ain't got no connection with that person and that person don't mean nothing to you and you just got to say something to them, kind of like when you look at that movie Poltergeist, when they went to the cafe and the mother, her mother that had passed away, had temporarily possessed that lady at the place. And she just all of a sudden came through. You could hear the mother's voice. And she was just like, hey, listen, you got to stick together. You got to do this. And she looked at the lady and she said, Mama. And the lady said, I'm not your mother, lady. That's exactly what spirits can do, only they can do it on a malevolent capacity. And that is something that is very real as I'm sitting here. Like, I let me tell you another thing that these spirits will do. They will make you think that you dead. Now, if you got a spirit that's doing that, that's something you need to get rid of. Spirits will try to make you think that you already in the afterlife. Why are they doing that knowing damn well you here, you sitting right there? Everybody that is dead knows that they're dead. They may not even accept it, but they know that they're dead. But these spirits will try to mess with you and afflict you so much that they will try to convince you that you dead, just like they are. So they do a lot of, and I can be quite mean to spirits sometimes, and because you're impeding on people's lives, and I don't like that. I feel that, especially, I had been getting stalked by a spirit of a man that committed suicide. It's like, well, you the one, like, why are you meddling with me? He wasn't meddling with me directly. He was possessing people, not my children or anything, but he was possessing people, just random people around me. He was possessing people. And that can happen. So if strange, it's like, wait a minute, this is strange. What is happening here? And with that, it's not always a curse, even though it can be considered a curse. You got a spirit stalking you, that's a curse. I've dealt with quite a few spirits that I don't really want to talk about. Maybe when I write a book about it, I will. But I don't really want to talk about that stuff, because once I discover a spirit that has been stalking me or afflicting me, I just don't even want to talk about it no more. Sometimes the best thing to do. Okay, you don't necessarily have to. Y'all know that show Supernatural, where the brothers they would go, and I still love that show. I do. It's very comforting. Even though it's just a TV show, we know that was like Supernatural and Charmed was those were the shows that were the closest to occultism. They were the closest, in my humble opinion. The brothers would go to graveyard sites. They would open up people's graves and throw sulfur and salt on it and set it on fire. You don't have to do that, because you'll get arrested if you do that, because then you'll be desecrating somebody's grave. Okay. But there are ways and rituals that you can do to get that stuff out of your house. Um, I have developed quite a few herb mixes that will clear that stuff out. But, I was having issues to where I felt like spirits just kept coming, and they just kept coming. And I was like, why? And it's become less and less. I'm going to tell you guys why, because I put pyrite in every corner of my house. Some stones you don't want to put in the corners of your house. Pyrite and maybe black obsidian, or either black tourmaline. Something that is meant to keep negativity out is what you'll want to grid your house with. If you use crystals, that might attract them. It depends on how good you are with those crystals, and then also how good you are with cleaning them. So I would say that if you have crystals, if you're using crystal gridding for your home, for you to have a lot of selenite wand in your house to make sure that you cleanse those crystals, and they have to be cleansed. Okay. But pyrite Pyrite, you can literally leave them in the corners of the house to keep crap out, and you don't have to clean them for a while, in my humble opinion. Things like amethyst. Amethyst is amazing in healing. It really, really is. But amethyst can actually attract spirits that might be hurt or hurting. So I used to want to have a big amethyst cathedral in my house. I decided no, because just my energy within itself will attract these spirits, and so, all of them are not. And see, for me, y'all remember that TV show with Jennifer Love Hewitt? I can't think of the name of it right now, but she was like basically she was a medium, and all of these spirits would come to her for help. And that's so sweet and nice. I don't want that. I don't want spirits to constantly come to me for help. Like, if I look at a video about something that happened to somebody, I don't want that spirit to just be able to pop up in my consciousness and just be sitting there, and waiting for me to do something. I don't want that. But a lot of you guys are going through that too. That's another thing. And so that's why we say rest in peace when somebody passes on. We don't go, oh, she deserved that. I've seen people do that, and those people are cursed by all those spirits. You don't speak negatively about the dead like that. You don't do that. Okay. Like, that's why, because they're a spirit. You speak negatively about the dead, they can be right there next to you. Um, so yeah, but just random spirits being able to come in, mm-mm. That, I don't know why I thought about that soap opera One Life to Live. I'm sorry, I like to think of it that way because I'm not trying to suffer. As a medium, that has brought me a great deal of suffering as a medium, because I wish them all healing. Every spirit that has departed this earth, I wish them all healing. But you have to understand that some of them are incapable of healing because they're so angry for whatever reason. They may have been angry when they were alive. So I think that is where my spirits are taking me, as far as with what, with the services that I offer as well. Because people are always stuck on demons, demons, demons. But you got to understand that spirits do certain things too. And they can be pretty disgusting with some of the things that they can do. And these spirits can get attached to your kids, they can get attached to your animals. In fact, I think that's what happened to my beloved Mary. I miss her so, so much. She's not coming back. And I know that in my heart. My cat disappeared a few weeks ago, and I know she's not coming back. But so I'm gonna get another. I think I want to get a dog, but I don't know. I actually like both cats and dogs, but yeah, there was a spirit that got on her, and I think that it caused her to roam off. And I've been checking the shelters. I'm gonna check again today to see if they picked her up. But yeah. So and like I said, pyrite, spelled Pyrite. This is some amazing stuff. And so I'm going to make sure that I have plenty of that on hand because pyrite is essential. And I think that those geodes are really good too, the geodes. So I'll come back and show you guys those geodes and stuff because a lot of the issues that we have, I feel like Mother Earth or Father Earth, whatever you want to, I believe that they created things to protect us from that. But I also think that on some level, I think that if more people were just accepting instead of thinking, oh, this is just spooking and this is Halloween. And so, like, for example, let me tell y'all this. When certain religious people tell you that you shouldn't celebrate Halloween, which Halloween is, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, they hate Halloween, which makes no sense. Traditionally, on Old Hallows Eve, you were to protect yourself from malevolent spirits that could get in because the veil was very thin. If you just deny it and say, "Oh, I just hate that particular holiday," then you're miseducating people, in my humble opinion. So that is the point of the jack-o'-lanterns, to protect you from spirits that may be meaning to hurt you. And then also on that day is more pivotal. That day you can really, really, really banish those malevolent spirits that have been plaguing you. But you can do that at any time, but for some reason it's different on Halloween. It hits different for some reason. So, I think that more people need to become educated and just accept what is, but they don't want to do it because they want to be a part of a society that denies it. It's almost like everybody is sitting in a ball having a party while hearing the screams of people being murdered because of these spirits. And they're just like, oh, I don't hear someone screaming. Do you hear anything? No, I don't hear that person screaming for help. It's so bizarre. And it's not a society that I choose to be a part of. I'm not going to deny what I know is happening spiritually just so that I can be accepted. I'm not going to do that, especially with my family and my bloodline and what we're about. I'm not going to do that. I don't care if you don't like it, if you want to call me weird, whatever. I'm going to listen to my ancestors, as you should too. Because whenever I have a spirit message for somebody, it's coming straight from your ancestors. Some of y'all departed relatives will come to me and they'll say, can you get this message to this person? And I'll tell that person and they'll go, oh, you're crazy. Oh, that's not real. Oh, that. And it's just like, whatever. You have the information. And, now we're having people that they're literally trying to convince people that they shouldn't trust their ancestors. But when it's your ancestors, you know it because you just feel extremely protected. It's not your ancestors, you're going to know it. And some spirits will try to pose as your ancestors. Some spirits will try to block out your ancestors. And I think that that's when you're going to need dragon's blood. There's a reason why I just bought an ounce of dragon's blood that I'm burning right now. But there's a reason why if you buy a pound of dragon's blood, it's going to run you about $20 or $30. There's a reason why that's going to be more expensive. And that is because dragon's blood is one of the strongest, most powerful things of banishing spirits. Okay. Um, so there's a process that you want to do: dragon's blood to banish the bad spirits, and copal to purify the space of that spirit energetically. And copal is very pivotal for healing, because a lot of these spirits will afflict you. They will afflict you with the same things that they suffered from. You know, if you had a spirit, if a spirit, a ghost that was suicidal or depressed, you may be feeling suicidal because of that spirit. And it don't matter what medication you take. They override medication. Medication might make you be able to ignore it for a little while, but it's gonna still come through. So I do believe that there are people that have had traumatic experiences caused by spirits or malevolent forces, and um, it will change the way the brain functions. And so I believe that medications can sometimes help that. But I feel like if the root of the problem is spiritual trauma, then you have to get down to the root of the problem. Okay? You have to get down to the root of the problem, and and go from there. So with that said, that is my discussion. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already, and I will catch you guys at a later time. Okay, happy Friday to y'all, and I will see you guys later. Okay, blessings.